Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and we're in part 4 of Let's Make a Little Golden Book Together. And today we're going to sew in the signatures. We're choose some buttons for our spine, get them sewed in, and depending on how long that's going to take me, maybe we'll start putting some of our ephemera, pockets, tucks, flips inside of our books. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got all my pages in the order that I want them to be in the journal. I have 3 signatures made up. Each one has 15 different pieces of paper or items in them. So this whole book is going to have 180 pages the way it is. And we're going to be adding a lot of ephemera or pockets and stuff. So we don't want too much more in there because it'll get alligator mouth, and then it just isn't fun for the new recipient because they want to add their own things also. So keep that in mind when you're making a little journal. So I'm going to set the signature. Oh, if you want to do any sewing on your pages, put in trim, sew any of the pockets or anything, do that now. Because once we stitch it into the book, you're not going to be able to sew it on the machine. It'll have to be done by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and put these aside. And I'm going to work with the book. First thing I did was I cut a piece of cardstock the height of my spine and the width of my spine. So this is going to be my working chart. Now what I'm going to do is just fold this in half lengthwise. And get it nice and folded. Gotta get it so I can see. Sorry. Get my big head in there. So how are your journals coming? Are they starting to look really nice? I bet they are. Okay, I just used my bone folder to burnish that down so I have a sharp crease. That is going to come in very handy. Now what we're going to do is open it up and we're going to fold it this way and burnish it down. So this is going to be the center. Now what I like to do is measure up let's go 3/4 of an inch. That's subjective. You can make it be anything you'd like. And so I'm just going to put a line at the top of my ruler where my 3/4 is. So I can see it. And so that you can see it, I went kind of dark. Yeah. And then same thing on this side. Put the 3/4. See, I like a clear ruler for this. Comes in really handy. So I'm lining it up with that black line on the ruler. And then I'm just going to pencil line it on the end of the ruler there. And now pick one side. It doesn't matter which, this one or this one. And you're going to write top. That's going to come in handy later. Okay, so now on this crease that's in the center there, what I want to do is put a pencil line down so that you can see it. because I know it's hard to see a crease in the film. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pencil line on my middle one too, so it's easier for you to see. Now what we're going to do, so this is going to be the center signature. Signature number 2 is going to be on this line, but we need signature number 1 and we need signature number 3. So what I'm going to do for that is measure from the center line, and with this, okay, this ruler is wore out. I have a backup. I want to measure 3/8 of an inch, and I'm using the little dotted lines on my ruler to line up with my pencil line underneath. And then you got to move it and wiggle it, of course. Okay. And then I make a line all the way down. So there's our signature 3. So flip it over. We can do the same thing so we can get our signature number 1. So line it up and pencil line. So there we have, that's where we're going to have our signatures. Now what I like to do is every time I make a new book, I keep my patterns. And so I can go back through and find one that fits what I want, whether it's a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5 signature, because I've got all my little patterns. So that's an idea for you. Now we need to punch some holes. Get the old phone book. And as far as punching the holes, this is what I have, an awl. And it's got kind of a thick shaft, very pointy. Here's a screwdriver pick. The shaft is much thinner, and it's pointy, and it's tapered. And I have my pokey tool. I like to use the pokey tool to punch through the signatures, but not the spine, because the hole doesn't get quite big enough for me. So I'm going to put the pokey tool aside, but use what you have. And when I'm using a phone book, I can get away with using the awl because it doesn't go down too deep. But I just found this in my toolbox, so let's give it a try and see if that works for us. And this is just a cheap one that I picked up in a little screwdriver set at Harbor Freight. So it costs like peanuts. But what you're going to find the center of the intersection and punch a hole. Just right through the phone book. Same thing with all 9 holes. Now I'm going to grab my book and see my top. I want to make sure it's on my top, and place it on your spine. I'm going to use a clip to hold on to it. Grab another clip. There, just that'll help me out so I don't wiggle it while I'm trying to see while I'm filming. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and in each one of those holes that we pre-punched, we're going to go ahead and punch through into the phone book. And we used chipboard on that spine, so we've got a little bit of thickness to go through, so we have to use some pressure. And I'm just going to flip this over so I can see better. And you'll be able to feel your bumps where you punched through on this side. So now we're done with the phone book. So this is ready. Now I like to start with the third signature. We're going to take our pattern, fold it in half, making sure my pages are all lined up. Find my center. I'm going to hang on to it, and I'm going to do a quick flip through because I have the short pieces. I want to make sure they're where I want them to be. One more double check before I start punching holes. And that way you double check to make sure nothing is upside down. Don't ask me how I know that, huh? Yeah, I've done that a couple times. It usually happens when I have it all together and then I pull it apart to sew something or to add something in, and then I put the page back in and oops. Okay, so now my pages are level or even. So now I'm holding it at the crease, and I want to put a clip in on the side. Same thing on this side. I hold it down and get a clip in there on the side. And then now I want to double check. Make sure that I have it nice and snug in there. Now I'm going to put my pattern in, and I'm going to pinch that in my clips. Now I take my pokey tool, and I'm going to put it in that hole in our pattern, fold it over, and punch through. There we go. Put it in the hole, punch through. And it's in the hole, fold it over, punch through. And I'm twisting it to get it through so that I'm not putting a lot of force on these old delicate papers. And then I just want to unclip it enough just to get my pattern out. So we're going to go ahead and start sewing this in, but we want some buttons, right? So I've just got a little tray to help me clean up my mess a little bit easier. What I like to do generally with my buttons is take into consideration the colors of my book cover. And so I think some of these pinks might be nice. Yeah. And I've just got oodles and oodles of containers. And of course the orange one opened up. Okay, so let's find some cute pink buttons. Oh, we've got purple in here too. And they can just, well, they can be any that one would be too big, so I don't want to do that. But we're just going to find some fun buttons. No orange, but orange would be nice on maybe a different book. Green. I think the green might work. We'll pull it out. Just some different ones. They don't have to match. There's a fun blue button. There's a clear blue button. And I'm just kind of selecting right now. They don't have to be what I'm going to finally choose. I just want something to start with. Well, here's a button with 3 holes. I don't think I've ever seen a button with 3 holes before. And I've been sewing for years. But hey, that's fun. We might use it. It's a button with square holes. I didn't do any preparing before I started. I maybe should have to choose the buttons, but you're getting to see my process though when I don't do a lot of preparing before. No, I don't like that at all. Okay, so I've got some different containers. So let's just go ahead and get rid of these. Boy, that's huge, huge button. Find some more to play with. These green ones are prettier. Old canning jar. Oh, I like this green much better than those. Let's pull out 3 of those. Different sizes. Yellow, do I want yellow? Well, we'll leave one out just in case. And maybe a couple of the dark blue. Okay, let's get rid of these. Yeah, I'm not used to doing this on camera. Not too big a mess. Okay, one more jar. These might have some good ones. Let's dump these out. Oh, I like white ones. Let's do some of those. That dark kind of emeraldy green is pretty too. Oh, this one is, oh, that one is nice. I like that. Getting sidetracked. I just like to play with the buttons. How about you? Do you like to play with the buttons too? I don't know if we'll use that big one, but maybe. I want to find some more of that one. Do you see any of that one? Point, help me out. I like that white one. Is that the only one that color? How disappointing. I want more. I probably missed it. Did you see it? Oh, well, kinda. I don't want red in this because it, well, maybe. Doesn't look bad. Let's pick out a few red ones. I might like them. Well, I think I'm giving up on this one. I wanted more of that one. When I'm using multiple colors, I don't like to have more than 3 of one particular color. Well, let's set these aside. We are not going to attempt to put that in the container. Good thing I saved it to last. Now we've got our choices limited down to these. So let's put them, I have 3 signatures, so I need 3 rows of buttons. And I like to stagger sizes. So I've got these 3 sizes that are big. The 3 colors that are big. I can't even talk today. So if this is the outside, the middle, and the top side, so we can go like that and then just fill in some. Get that pretty one. This green is better. We need a green down here at the bottom. We want some more white ones. I've got 3 white ones, so let's hold off on that one for now. Green. Let's go with this bright green. We'll put it up here at the top. So we need, here, yellow. Let's go with a dark blue. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. What we can do is do 6 in one of them, and it'll look good still. I don't want that. But I found that if you put 6 in each row, it tends to be too crowded. It's too many buttons. I like this little tiny size. But I don't know where. Maybe that'll work. Let's put these aside in case we change our mind. That pretty purple one. No. we're going with it. We're not going to think about it too much. We need our thread. I'm going to use this wax cord. You can use crochet cotton. This works well too. And I'm going to measure the book 3 times. And cut my string. Flatten out the one end and feed it through the needle. And I'm using a crewel needle because the eyes are big and the point is not real sharp. It's a crewel. So it's made to go in for crewel embroidery, so you're not piercing the threads of your embroidery fabric, you're going into the holes of the weave. So we're doing the bottom first, and so if we do this is our top, so if our book is like this, and these are how our rows are going, then we're going to be working with this row right now. So let's keep our rows in order, but over to the side so I don't knock them over. Because I probably will. I'm going to go into the center and into the center of the book, pulling it through, and what you can do is add a clip so you don't pull it through. So now we're going to start threading on some buttons. And I've got some 2-hole and some 4-hole, mostly 4-hole it looks like, and a 3. Okay, so I've got 3 buttons on. Now I'm going to go into that bottom hole of the spine. And into the bottom hole of the book. Okay, you know what I forgot? We were having envelopes, weren't we? It's not too late. Let's get an envelope. Let's put that pretty orange one in. Okay, and of course I don't have the holes punched. I completely forgot. Okay, and what I'm going to do is unthread that end quick and grab this end and thread it through. and go up the center of that envelope. Nice save, right? Then go ahead and clip that. And then we'll attach our thread again that we were using. There. And now I'm going to come all the way to the far hole. When I do a three-hole pamphlet stitch, that's the way I like to do it. And then go through the book. Pull it through, getting tangled on my clip. Okay, so now I need to put 3 more buttons on, and this is the top of my book, so I have this at the top. Okay, and now I'm going to go down that center hole, being careful not to stab into this cord. You want to go next to it. I'm going to remove that clip. And go through the book and into the signature. I'm getting hung up on something. I wonder if it's my new page. And I came up, see, I've got my center thread and these on each side of it. Go ahead and remove my needle. I need to make sure that my buttons are there and not holding it. Get this as nice and taut as we can. And go ahead and tie a double knot. Double checking the tension. Yes, it's good. And then I clip my threads on when it's in an envelope. I leave about 1 inch. And this is a wax cord, so I like to flatten it down with my bone folder. We can remove our clips. So now we have one signature all sewn in. Now we're going to grab the next one, find the center of the book, making sure that everything is where we want it to be. Clip, clip, see my top, this is my top. Double check to make sure I'm down, seated in that crease. And then go ahead and punch through. We're going to remove our template. This is top. It's going to go like that. We need some more cord. And this center one, I'm not going to put an envelope in this one. I'm just trying to thread my needle. Into the center, into the hole in the center of the book. Pull her through. Put a clip on my cord. And I'm going to go down, so I need to put my buttons on. I'm going to go with these. I have 5, so I'm going to put 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And I do it different every time. This is that fun 3-hole button. It's not going to be even. Oh, it'll be interesting. And then we're going to go down that hole in the spine. And into the book. Double check, make sure everything's in order. Go all the way to the top. And into the book. Always double checking to make sure your cords are not hung up or tangled on something. And then start from the top again and sew on our buttons. The buttons add a nice accessory, a decoration to the little book, doesn't it? And then we're going to go for the center. Remove that clip. There we go. I don't want to splice the thread, so we're good. Pull it through. Buttons are tangled. And pull, and I've got a cord on each side of the long string. Pull, remove the needle so I don't stab myself, and go ahead and tie her down. Like a double knot. And then if you want to, you can leave the cords long so you can tie a bead or a charm on the ends, or put it in a bow. And I like to put it in a bow so that the new owner can decide if they want to put a bead or charm or, oops, there we go, or leave it in a knot or cut it off. Give them the option. Remove the clips. And now we have our 2 signatures in. It's looking good. So now we need our last one. And let's go ahead and use our pretty envelope. We're going to go through and make sure our pages are in the right order. Not upside down. It's good. Okay, leveling it out. Put in our template. Pinch. Pinch. And now we're going to make sure we're down in that fold. And pokey tool. Okay. We're going to go ahead and poke through. Remove our template. And so that my envelope stays placed in here, I've got a little bit of washi tape that I'm going to just go ahead and attach that down. Temporary. We need some cord. I remembered the envelope. Awesome. At least you got to see how I fix it when I do forget. So I'm going to go down the center first. Into the book. Pull. Leave a tail. Clip. Okay, so this is what our cover looks like so far. And we get to, manipulate and move our buttons around wherever, they just slide. So whatever ends up looking the most pleasing to our eye when we're done, that's where we'll put our buttons. Because they just slide. They're going to be fun. So now we're going to have, this is why I don't use all big buttons too, because see, they wouldn't fit. They take up all the room. They add interest. I like that assorted sizes. So we're going to go down. So let's choose our button for here. Let's use the 3 on the bottom this time and 2 on the top. So we're going for this big one. I always love white buttons. They complement your clothing so well. I had internet issues yesterday all day long, so it took forever to get the video uploaded because the internet kept going out all day. And then I had to go to my grandson's 10th birthday party. So that was a nice relief and fun. See all those little boys screaming and hollering and playing? we went to the trampoline park, and boy, were they tired. Or maybe it was me that was tired. Okay, so I'm having trouble finding where the hole is. So I'm just going to take my pokey tool and go through it again to refresh my mind and eyes where the hole is. And there it goes. That helped. So while I was waiting for my video to upload, I started collaging tags out of paint chips. So I'm dying to show you those. They were fun to do. So don't let me forget to show them to you. Then we're going to go down back into that center. Get rid of that clip. Get it taut. Check my front, make sure I'm not okay, and tie it off. Doesn't feel right. And I want to stop it now before and find out why. Much better. Okay. Okay, my threads, one on each side of the cord. Tighten it up again. Yep. Double knot. Remove our clips. Remove the washi tape. And here's our book. Oh, doesn't that look like fun? Get to play around with the buttons a little bit. Got two white ones next to each other, but that's fine. Isn't that fun? Love it. Can play with the buttons all day. Cute. I love it. Okay, so put the needle back in the cord so I don't lose it or stab myself. And these are the buttons that we didn't use, so they're going to go in the bin. I love it. Okay, now I have no idea what time it is. I don't have a clock in here. I really wish I did sometimes, but no, I don't, because it could stifle creativity, right? So let's glue the two envelopes shut. Well, not shut, but closed so that they're workable. And what I like to do is just put some glue here on the edge of this corner and this one. I'm using the art glitter glue again. And the edge here, not too close to the edge though, because I don't want it to ooze out when I push it down. And when I'm working with it so that it doesn't open prematurely and get folded or creased, I'll just put a clip on it so it holds it closed. Now let's find our, no envelope in this one. I just thought, this is my pretty lace dyed paper. I used an old empty dried up inkjet ink cartridge and took it apart and used that to dye this paper with. Isn't that pretty? So we have this envelope. Let's go ahead and close it up. Not real generous with the glue. We just want it to do its job. And then we clip it so that we don't damage it. So now we have our book. So now we can start to put in our pages, flips, and ephemera. And let's see, for the Child's Garden of Verses, this one goes in this book. These we're going to put in a different book. I think the pink one of that will be nice in here because I've got stuff for 3 different books. So let's do that one. It's starting to look pink, isn't it? We're not putting orange in this. No orange. Oh, and here's how the little song sheet pockets turned out that we collaged with that gel. What's it called? Matte gel. So A Child's Garden of Verses is our title, so let's do this one when they're reading the book. And then we've got, let's put the green one in. And that. This is from a Child's First Picture Dictionary. And $1948. This is an excellent condition for that age of a book. And don't these look perfect for little flashcards and journaling cards? Love it. Perfect. That was a good find. So I've started to cut out, here we've got garden and the kitten. Got another one around here somewhere too. I think I stuck it in a pocket somewhere. And here we've got some pink pages. Let's go with that. And we've got that one. And let's go with that little girl pocket. Oh, and we've got these fun, here's the one the matchbooks, I collaged and decorated the fronts of them. And who needs a superhero when you have Dad? And that one book is We Help Daddy. So I thought, perfect for that one. And let's go with the butterfly for this. It's an Eloise Wilkin illustration, so. And then we have, oh, that one's for my Raggedy Ann book. Losing them. We'll use that one. And then I've got some other stuff in here, but we've got a lot to play with for right now. So let's just go ahead and start playing a little bit. And then I have some vintage flashcards too that I think are fun to use. Oodles of them. So the front one is a no-brainer. I'm going to use this here. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue it on 3 sides. That way we'll have a pocket back here and one here. Oh, I was going to show you my my fun with the color paint chips. This is a yellow one, and I did some collaging on it with song pages and inside of an old envelope. And then I took a napkin and decoupaged that on top of it. And here I just, oh, and I background stamped every one of them first. This one I just, after I stamped it and stitched, I've got coffee dyed paper behind all of them. That's the first thing I did, was glue them onto paper. And then I stitched around everything, and then I stamped and started to just play. So it's Tim Holtz cutouts. Some are really super simple. And here I put some of the Kool-Aid dyed lace. And I cut out a word out of the book. And here's one of Mrs. Coggs' images printed on the rice paper. And this one is the Tim Holtz over cheesecloth. This paint chip has 3 different colors. Another Mrs. Cog and a little butterfly. So they're pretty simple. And here I have a green one. And I have some tracing paper that's tea-dyed doily. Here's a stamp with postmarking from Brussels, 1957. And I have a stamp, and so I just stamped it on this German textbook. I thought that would be great with the Brussels. And then I just tore out the little, because it's Children's Adventure, that Mrs. Coggs that I use, so I just used that word. And here I've got a little Tim Holtz paper doll on top of an old German map of one of the world wars. And so that's interesting. And here I've got 3 stamps that I thought were just gorgeous, and with the postmarking, and they're from Germany, and I just loved those stamps, so I kept them in there together and put that on there. And then I stamped down here on the bottom to fill in some more with this rubber stamp, so it has a little bit extra, but this is original. And then I just glued on a paper doll. And here I've got a lady with a doily. You got this. And it's German text and American dictionary, and then just a little advertisement about fabric. And a Tim Holtz. And here I've got vellum, song music sheet, cheesecloth, Tim Holtz, and then this is a gummed label from, it's hinging tape that you use for fine art when I was framing forever ago. And here's another Tim Holtz with a little butterfly. So those are my little paint chips. I just had some fun. Kind of a sidetrack, right? But, you know, it's fun. So now what we want to do is we have a pocket here. So I'm going to glue it closed so it's a workable pocket. And we'll find some fun tags or something to, you know, this was our matchbook notebook that we made, remember? So we can, you know, put any kind of a tag or something in there. I'll put the tags in later. And I go through it a few times before I actually decide where I want things. But I want to cover up this branding from this wallpaper. And so I need to choose something that will let me do that for the most part. It doesn't have to cover it all, but that's boring. Going with the girl. And because this is a wallpaper, it is the paper side of it, but I've also got thread here. So I'm just going to use Fabri-Tac. And then this is my top, so I keep my hand there so I know where not to glue. And then just stick it down. I was separating napkins for my decoupage, and so I keep the other layers for little wipe-off cloths. And so then we're going to have a little pocket. Here we have our envelope. See, I like to have the corners tucks over on this side. But you know what might be nice? That one's too short. The subtraction. This is the one. This is what we're going to use. We'll make this into a pocket. Okay, so I want to go ahead and trim it down. My buttons are all over my trimmer. Got to move those before they hit the floor, because that would not be fun to pick up. And my page was 7 7/8. Go ahead and glue it top, bottom, and the edge. Looks like my wallpaper page was a little bit short of my measurement, or else I just didn't measure right. But you know what I just realized? I'm going to have clogged up art glitter glue. So then it seeped a little bit onto my page. Don't want to glue it shut. So I'm just going to take the scissors, nice long ones, so I get a straighter line, and trim that off. And these fun flashcards work so nice in these nice big pockets. Glue this one shut also. So it's just the little details now. Just, you know, fix up your pockets, glue in your goodies. This is a drawing paper, so I don't want to cover that. Here I've got a colored page. Let's stamp that. I grab this big stamp quick. I'm sorry. Just got this little box of colored stamps, and I have this lined stamp. I got this at 123 Stitch online, and so these are just little memento teardrops. And just put some ink on it. It does not need to be perfect. Randomness looks great. And we're going to go ahead and flip it over and stamp. So now we have lines on our page, and with the memento, I find that what it does is like it comes through a little bit, so you've got lines on this side too. So that's always nice. And then if you want a little bit of a title up at the top, so that works. And of course that comes through too, but it looks really nice. So then you can just journal away. And then if we want to do some stenciling, these are my favorite stencils that I like to use in books. This is a script, and flowers, swirls, big numbers, arrows, measuring tape, wildflowers, bricks, coffee stains, honeycombs, and 2 different kinds of swirls, and vines and flowers. So let's just go ahead and put a few of those on and use the vintage photo. Oh goodness. Okay, and a little makeup brush. And I just dip it into the photo. And here, let's do this one. And just kind of stencil it on. Let's get rid of that. Tight quarters. And then we've got a little bit of stenciling. So that's a fun addition to our books also. and then I just hit it here and there. So it just has a little bit of a faint. We can put some on this side. And if you have other stamps that you want to use also, that would be fun. This is a tracing paper. Glue that little pocket shut. Okay, let's put one of our little flips in here. Not on that page though. This is a drawing paper, but let's go ahead and put a flip in there. Break it up a little bit. So we have that 2-inch score, so I'm just gonna fold it over, and we're gonna put glue on that short edge, the bottom short edge, and just here along the edge. And press it down. And now we have a pocket for a tag. Or journaling paper. And over here, it flips out for more room. Okay, in our third signature, fun spots. This spots I don't need to stamp them because it looks like lines already. So that works. Glue this shut. Close quarters. Let's glue that pocket in. I'm using the Fabri-Tac again. It's a fabric pocket, but it's backed on our copy paper and zigzagged around. When I'm putting the ephemera and pockets and tucks inside the books, I do a preliminary through, and then I go through again, and then I go through again. That way I'm sure that I have it distributed throughout the book, so not everything is in the first signature, because that's disappointing. Let's go ahead and stamp on this page too, and I probably still have some ink on here, so I'm going to go ahead and just lay it down and press. Oh, turned out nice. Second generation inking. It didn't come through to the other side, but that looks nice. And can have some fun with it. We'll give it a little stamp so they can write something inside the little stamp. And that is coming through a little bit, which is good because then they can write it on this side too. This stamp I got when I lived in Minnesota forever ago, and it's from the Stamp Pad Company, Big Lake, Minnesota. And that's who made it, and I probably got this stamp in the 80s. Yes, when I lived in Coon Rapids. So the early 80s, I believe. So I don't know if that stamp company is even there anymore, but I'm going there next week, so I'll find out. Yeah, I'm planning a road trip to Minnesota. I got to go see my mom for Mother's Day, and my sister and brothers and their wives, and got to go craft with my sister-in-law. She is new to making journals and scrapbooks, and she's so much fun to play with. So we're going to go hang out. So I'm on my way, Kathy. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to glue this on two sides so that it will be a tuck. Also, not just a pocket, but we can put something big in there. That's what I'm going to do with this one. Yeah, I'm going to do some crafting with my niece also. Stop and see her. And Carrie, I'm going to bring you my old Cricut so that you can have that and play with. My sister doesn't do any crafting, but she likes to enjoy it, so she likes the finished products. So that works. There we go. That's going to be nice. And this is Friend. We have our envelope. We'll find something good for that. I've got some vintage stenographer paper that I like to put in the envelopes for good secret hidden journaling. I think some stenciling here would be in order. Let's do Wildflower. And this is a Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous stencil that I think I got online, but in the crafting section, not the scrapbook section, you pay more for it there. But if you go to the fabric or the clothing art with the t-shirts and that part of the store, or the general painting like for walls, those stencils are cheaper. And that's where I got this, by the woodworking and crafting they're cheaper there, but if you buy them in the scrapbooking department, they cost more. It's crazy. Let's put a little pocket here. Let's use this bright one. And it's going to go this way, so it's going to fold up. So I'm going to glue the bottom and a side. That's going to be nice. And we'll put another pocket here. Gluing the 3 sides. I think on my road trip I'm going to be stopping at some second-hand and antique stores too, maybe, or maybe check out some estate sales on the way. That's what's so fun about doing a road trip. You can buy things and keep them in the car till you get home. If I fly, I can't buy anything. So that's no fun. But it's about a 13-hour drive though, if I was going to drive nonstop, which I'm not. I have to make lots of stops. Let my knees stretch out and do some shopping. That's going to be nice. So yeah, I usually go up from where I am, I'll go up 75 and up to the UP, the Upper Peninsula, and cross over the bridge and stay in the Upper Peninsula tonight and then go, next Wednesday probably, and then go over to Wisconsin and then into Minnesota at the Duluth port, and then go over towards Fargo. So if anybody's along the way, give me a shout out. We can stop and do some shopping. So on this back cover, we can put our little accordion folded pouch, or we can put this waterfall. It can go anywhere. Let's put the waterfall here. And it's kind of heavy. It's got the 2 envelopes, plus all the cardstock, plus the scrapbook paper. So instead of leaving it open at the top, I'm going to go ahead and just glue the whole thing down because it's bulky already. And if you add photos, you're going to be adding more bulk. And I did leave some room on the spine, but let's go ahead and just glue it down. So I've got to get all my yard work done before my trip and get packed, get some craft stuff packed, and bring some goodies along to collage and play with. And make some journals on the road. And then when I'm there, we can stop in St. Cloud and go to the Crafts Direct. I miss that place so much. When I lived there, it was very convenient to go there and shop. So it's looking good and it's filling up, and we don't even have everything in it yet. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the day today. Oh, we've got these fun pockets. Oh, yes, okay. Remember these? We have the string ties. And they flip over, and you have a pocket and journaling space. Yes, okay. We need to glue these in. And then I'll let you go, and you can have fun with your books. And then I'll get started on my yard work. It's calling my name. Finally got a new lawnmower, so I don't have to worry about that, trying to start it and breaking down and... Oh. And start to get some of the cold vegetables planted in the garden so they can start going while I'm gone. We have a pocket there. Where are we going to put this? We have to find a spot. And we have this tuck too. We have to find a spot. What looks good? That gets lost. I'm kind of heading towards, I think the back of the book might be easier with this because it's... No, it'll be okay because you can write while it's on the book. So it can be anywhere. I was thinking that maybe it's on the bottom, so then if it's off the book, it would be too difficult to journal. So it's going to be on the book, so we can go ahead and put it anywhere. So let's go back up here. And let's put it right there. Perfect, right? Go ahead and glue it in. 3 sides. Perfect. Okay. I've got some more goodies to put in, and I'll work on those a little bit later. Do some more stenciling and some more stamping and fill in all the little cards and tags. But thank you for journaling with me today. Have a great day. We'll do some more tomorrow.